While Aja Wilson's signature sneakers quietly sit untouched on clearance racks, something far more explosive is unfolding behind closed doors at Nike. Caitlin Clark hasn't just made a visit, she's taken over. The entire campus now revolves around her as Nike funnels record-breaking investment into her 2026 signature shoe. We're talking next-level innovation, tech so advanced Clark herself says it will outdo anything the brand has ever released. At the same time, Wilson's promotional push has all but vanished. No spotlight, no momentum, just silence. So how did Clark rise so fast that she pushed aside the league's former centerpiece? And why did Nike realize too late that they backed the wrong star from the start? Are you hyped for Caitlin Clark's signature shoe? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Step inside Nike's headquarters and it doesn't feel like a corporate campus anymore. It feels like Caitlin Clark's territory. The Beaverton grounds have been reshaped to orbit around a single star. Her image is everywhere you turn. Massive campaign visuals stretch across entire buildings. Even on-site security has swapped standard gear for Clark jerseys. Nike handed Clark something no WNBA player has ever been trusted with before: full control over how their headquarters presents itself. She moves through the space with complete authority. When Clark is in the building, top executives drop everything. Designers rush to put unfinished concepts in front of her. Meetings get rearranged. Timelines shift. They've even tailored the little things. During her longer visits, the cafeteria rolls out her favorite Iowa comfort foods. Every detail sends the same message. This isn't a guest walking through Nike's halls. This is the centerpiece of their future.
Caitlin Clark has shut down Nike headquarters in viral new footage. Now, Caitlin Clark has been dormant since the Team USA tryouts. That is until today. She made her rounds at the Nike Studios, which is the Nike.
The twin-letter CC emblem isn't just visible, and it takes over every corner you step into. Employee lounges run non-stop Caitlin Clark highlight packages. Boardrooms no longer showcase generic Nike decks. Instead, Clark's shooting maps and performance data fill the walls. Even the parking structures are wrapped in massive murals of her image. Her presence stretches into spaces Nike usually keeps neutral, polished, and strictly corporate. And the lineup Nike built around her brand is just as loud. Travis Kelce shows up in her ads. Jason Kelce creates content alongside her during Indiana Fever games. Travis Scott crafts exclusive Clark merch. Michael Che scripts comedy segments centered on her shooting range. Every collaboration comes with a multi-million-dollar price tag, and everyone reinforces how heavily Nike is betting on her future. At the same time, Aja Wilson has vanished from the building entirely. Her posters were quietly pulled. Display cases once dedicated to her accomplishments were stripped clean. Meeting rooms that previously celebrated her milestones now spotlight Clark's numbers instead. According to Nike staff, internal directives were clear: remove every trace of Wilson branding and replace it with Caitlin Clark content. The shift wasn't subtle, it was total.
It's harder than it looks. There we go. So he has the jersey on. Okay, hang on. He has the jersey on. You want me to sign it? Try to make it first.
This is for a signature.
With the expo marker. Never seen that before.
Caitlin Clark's inner circle has effectively set up camp inside Nike's headquarters. Her management team sits in on design sessions as if they're staff members. Her personal trainer runs workouts using Nike's private performance labs. Her shooting coach collaborates directly with Nike engineers, breaking down mechanics frame by frame. They've even carved out a permanent base on the executive level. Other sponsored athletes have to book time weeks in advance. Clark doesn't. She moves in and out whenever she wants. And that difference says everything everything about where Nike's priorities truly sit. Inside the design labs, Clark's signature shoe concepts dominate the space. Her color tastes ripple through Nike's entire women's basketball lineup. The cafeteria adjusts its inventory to match her go-to pregame snacks. Conference rooms quietly get renamed to reflect her college milestones. When Clark arrives, executives treat it like a state visit. Restricted areas suddenly open up. She's the first to touch unreleased technology. Design teams bring ideas straight to her before anyone else even knows they exist. The company president personally walks her through upcoming facility upgrades. This isn't a partnership anymore. It's a coronation.
Wow, look, it says Caitlin Clark logo cookies to coffee to shooting in Duncan on CC logo backgrounds. Nike WHQ is dripped out with CC stuff. I ain't lying, man. We ain't seen nothing like this since Michael Jordan came, bro. Nike, like, people was feeling the type of way about Nike, man, but Nike is showing out for Caitlin, dog. I don't even think they did all this shit for LeBron. I just gotta be honest, man. They is showing out for Caitlin.
Spaces that once belonged to Aja Wilson now power Caitlin Clark's expanding domain. What used to be Wilson's design meeting room has been converted into Clark's personal creative lab. The photo displays that once highlighted Wilson's campaigns have been reworked into a timeline tracking Clark's rise. Even a parking spot once set aside for Wilson has been reassigned to Clark's inner circle. Nike didn't issue a press release to explain its decision. The building itself makes it obvious. Clark controls the campus while Wilson's presence is quietly stripped away piece by piece. Walk the halls and the message is impossible to miss. Priorities have shifted, and this physical overhaul isn't just cosmetic, it's a preview of something much larger unfolding behind the scenes. A complete reset in how Nike approaches its signature shoe strategy.
Clark to be back at the Nike headquarters is legendary, bro. I just gotta be honest. Nike has definitely had their share of not doing nothing for Caitlin Clark. I'll be one of the first people to tell y'all, I feel as if Caitlin Clark, well, at first I thought Caitlin Clark wasn't getting the Nike treatment, but it looked like she really
Step into almost any major sporting goods store, and the picture is hard to miss. Aja Wilson's signature sneakers aren't front and center. They're pushed off to the side with clearance tags slapped on them. At Foot Locker, they're buried in the discount section. At Dick's Sporting Goods, they've been relegated to bargain racks near the back of the store. These shoes were rolled out with major hype not long ago. Now they're being marked down by 50% or more, and they still aren't moving. Retailers are struggling to clear stock even at cut rate prices. What Nike once believed would be a cornerstone of women's basketball footwear is now sitting untouched, wedged between discontinued models tied to players fans barely remember. Store managers have reportedly labeled Wilson's line as one of the weakest performing basketball shoe launches they've seen in years.
Look at the top shoes. The top shoes worn in the NBA. Obviously, it is the Nike Kobe 6 and Nike Kobe 5. But if you guys don't know, the most popular colorways of the two most popular shoes are both Caitlin Clark colorways. That's kind of...
Nike quietly shut off the lights on Aja Wilson's marketing push weeks ago. Her TV ads vanished without explanation. Sponsored posts stopped appearing. Social media momentum went completely dark. Every dollar that once supported her signature line was redirected elsewhere, leaving her shoes to survive on shelves with zero backing from the swoosh. Inside retail stores, the message is just as clear. Employees say they're given regular directives to slash prices even further. Regional managers are pressuring stores to free up valuable floor space for new launches that actually move product. Wilson's shoes are taking up premium spots that retailers can't afford to waste. In some locations, her entire signature lineup has been permanently shifted to outlet sections. And behind the scenes, the numbers are even worse. Industry insiders say sales missed expectations by such a wide margin that Nike executives have begun questioning whether future releases make sense at all. In fact, Wilson's signature line reportedly brought in less revenue over 6 months than a standard Nike basketball shoe generates in just 6 weeks. After pouring millions into building her brand, Nike was left watching the rollout collapse at the register.
Nobody has gained more in terms of their hype than Aja Wilson because of Caitlin Clark. Because let's be real, like Caitlin Clark is a like Aja Wilson is being objectively known as the GOAT right now. And nobody was calling Aja Wilson the GOAT before it is Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark's influence is already showing up on NBA floors, and her signature shoe hasn't even officially hit the market yet. Player-exclusive colorways tied to her brand are everywhere. Stephen Curry has worn her colors during games. Other players have gone out of their way to request Clark-inspired designs. Her reach has climbed all the way to the top tier of professional basketball without a single retail release. Now compare that to Aja Wilson's presence, or lack of one. You won't spot an NBA player wearing her signature shoes in games or even in warm-ups. Outside of her boyfriend Bam Adebayo, her footwear is essentially non-existent on pro courts. Even athletes who received Wilson's shoes through Nike partnerships quietly choose different models when it's time to actually compete. That side-by-side reality says more than any press release ever could. Clark's brand is already being embraced at basketball's highest level, while Wilson's remains invisible where it matters most.
At the reaction at the time, the delayed not denied post from Asia Wilson, and then Asia's shoe comes out and so on and so forth, and that was a big rollout. And there was speculation that Nike was worried about stepping on toes or offending anybody by launching CC's shoe ahead of everybody else, even though she got the big deal and is the most popular and all that, but it's coming.
The collapse of Aja Wilson's signature rollout handed Nike a clear opening, and they didn't hesitate to take it. Her failed launch became a costly lesson, forcing the brand to rethink where its money and attention truly belong. Inside Nike, executives reportedly came to a hard realization: elite basketball talent alone no longer guarantees success in the signature shoe era. That shift is already obvious. Caitlin Clark's shoe hasn't even been released, yet it's generating more excitement than Wilson's fully funded campaign ever managed. Online conversations about Clark's upcoming debut completely overshadow anything Wilson's line produced at its peak. Fans aren't just aware, they're genuinely eager. By contrast, Wilson's shoes sparked little more than silence. No buzz, no anticipation, just apathy. And to many observers, the failure wasn't just about product design, it was about perception. The belief that a difficult reputation eventually comes due, even for star athletes, is playing out in real time. Wilson's signature shoe implosion became the price of that reality. Meanwhile, Clark's upcoming tech-driven release represents the exact opposite. Innovation, excitement, and momentum. Everything Nike wanted before, and everything Wilson's campaign never was.
It's coming. And I think what it really means is, number one, Nike is going all in on Caitlin Clark after a while, after a little bit of a dormant period. Number two, 2026 is going to be just absolutely massive for her from a marketing standpoint because of that injury. And, because there's going to be such a thirst and hunger to see her.
When Caitlin Clark joined Jason and Travis Kelce on the New Heights podcast, she casually set off shockwaves. What she revealed about her upcoming signature shoe caught almost everyone off guard. According to Clark, this isn't just another release. It's the most aggressive basketball footwear project Nike has ever taken on. The tech plan for her 2026 shoe reportedly makes past Nike breakthroughs feel outdated. Clark spent nearly 8 months embedded inside Nike's top-tier research facilities, working hands-on with the brand's most advanced development teams. She cycled through countless cushioning concepts, pushing each one to its limits. Nike engineers even embedded custom pressure mapping sensors into her test pairs to break down how her body moves on the court. Nothing was left to chance. Clark personally evaluated every design detail before signing off. Her shooting mechanics directly shaped how weight is distributed in the shoe. The way she cuts and changes direction influenced the traction layout from heel to toe. This wasn't Nike designing for Clark, it was Nike designing around her.
You said that you're wearing the new kicks coming up this season.
Yeah.
I honestly, for everyone that doesn't know like the process that goes into like making the sneakers, like how long in advance has it been, or like when does it all start? Do they come to you with a shoe, a bunch of shoes? Do you kind of get to tweak them here and there? How is that?
The cushioning system Clark helped design incorporates materials Nike has never used in basketball shoes before. Engineers developed a foam that dynamically responds to different court surfaces, while the midsole is fine-tuned to match Clark's unique style of play. Impact protection is tailored around her signature deep three-point shots and lightning-fast cuts. Nike poured more resources into Clark's signature line than any women's basketball release in company history. Her development budget alone was 3 times larger than than the entire campaign Nike ran for Aja Wilson. Just the research and prototyping phase reportedly cost more than most athletes ever see from a full signature deal. This isn't just a new shoe, it's Nike's boldest investment in women's basketball ever. A wager on Clark's star power and on a product built to revolutionize the game.
Probably been like a year and a half now of like figuring out what exactly I want. And I think probably the most challenging part of it is like you want it to be unique, but at the same time, like I have to be comfortable wearing it. So I think we kind of like, you kind of take what you know you're comfortable in. Like obviously I play in a lot of Kobe's, but I don't, at the same time, I don't want it to be a Kobe. I want it to be something very unique to me and a little bit different. And I think for myself, like, you know, I kind of think about like what's kind of been important to me when I think about like shoes or sneakers. And I think like just the chaseability of them and like, you want a certain sneaker or like you want a certain colorway. So I think that's like going to be probably the most fun part. Like, okay, great. Like you have like the mold of the shoe and like what it is and the technology that's in it. But more so, I think I'm more excited about like making the certain colorways or collabing with certain brands or whatever.
Industry experts are forecasting that Caitlin Clark's signature shoe could bring in over $100 million in its first year alone. Pre-sale numbers have already blown past Nike's most optimistic forecasts. Retailers report unprecedented interest in a women's basketball release, signaling a potential game changer for how Nike approaches the female market. The performance enhancements Clark requested are designed for the modern athlete. Specialized arch support extends her shooting range. The collar adjusts perfectly to her ankles during step-back moves. Even the lacing system was custom fitted to her foot and pre-game routine. Every detail is engineered to meet the demands of elite play. Insiders predict the shoe will sell out within minutes of launch. Pre-registration numbers have shattered all previous records for women's basketball footwear. Stores are already planning midnight release events, while resale platforms are bracing for immediate massive markups. Clark's line isn't just a shoe, it's a cultural and financial phenomenon in the making.
You super involved in that process as well?
Yeah, for sure. And like, obviously I'm pretty like picky about what I wear. Like I like a certain 2 Kobe models. So like I knew whatever I was going to put in my own shoe, it needed to be like the equivalent of that technology or even better. And it's going to be even better. I'm not going to say exactly what it is because I think it'll get people excited about it. And I think even like the Chinese market, like I was talking to some people at Nike, like over in China, like they'll cut open the inside of the Kobe's and like show people the technology that's on the inside of the shoe because they're like, that means a lot to them. Like they want to know what they're getting out of the product.
Right. Wow.
So I thought that was like really fascinating.
Cut that open? That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. So it better be made one.
Nike executives have privately acknowledged that Caitlin Clark's signature deal is the single most significant investment they've ever made in women's basketball. Her hands-on involvement in the development process left company leadership stunned. Clark attended more design meetings than many NBA stars ever do. She pushed for material upgrades that Nike initially thought were too costly. The innovations she helped bring to life, from advanced cushioning to precision support systems, aren't just for her shoe. Nike plans to integrate these breakthroughs across its entire basketball line, using Clark's design as the blueprint for the next generation of footwear. Her collaborative approach and technical insight exceeded even Nike's high expectations. By contrast, Aja Wilson's campaign was quietly sidelined, a move that sparked drama and tension no one inside the company saw coming. Clark's project illustrates exactly why Nike shifted all focus and resources to her revolutionary signature shoe.
Technology everywhere. So that's honestly been a huge part of, you know, the process and the creation of the shoe is like it being comfortable and exactly kind of what I need. And the technology that we're going to put into it isn't anything that they've ever put into a basketball shoe before. So I'm really excited about that.
Sources close to Nike reveal that Aja Wilson completely lost her composure when she discovered the budget had been redirected to Caitlin Clark's campaign. She demanded urgent meetings with executives and repeatedly called leadership after hours. Her team fired off heated emails, questioning Nike's dedication to her brand. Wilson's reaction exposed a side of her personality that company insiders found alarming. Her long-standing reputation for being difficult finally caught up with her, and at the worst possible time. Multiple sponsors began reconsidering their relationships. Gatorade scaled back her appearances, and other athletic brands pulled back from potential deals. Wilson's pattern of toxic behavior left companies wary of associating their products with her name. The fallout made it clear her actions had real consequences for her career and brand partnerships.
Joe Wilson is her name, quote, "It doesn't matter what we all do as black women, we're still going to be swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because
Nike executives grew increasingly frustrated with Aja Wilson during her campaign rollout. She frequently dismissed creative concepts without offering meaningful feedback. She showed up late to shoots, clashed with photographers over lighting and angles, and her negativity quickly spread across entire production sets. Staff began requesting reassignment just to avoid working with her directly. In stark contrast, Caitlin Clark approaches partnerships with energy and professionalism. She arrives early to every Nike obligation, collaborates eagerly with creative teams, and offers constructive suggestions instead of just criticism. Employees actively seek to be part of Clark's projects, drawn in by the way her enthusiasm elevates everyone around her. The difference became undeniable when executives saw how naturally Clark connects with fans. Her social media engagement far outpaces Wilson's. Fan interactions feel authentic, with Clark personally responding to young supporters online. By comparison, Wilson's online presence comes across as distant and calculated. For Nike, it was clear. Clark's positivity and genuine connection make her not just a star athlete, but a brand powerhouse.
That's crazy because literally nobody asked, and sources close to Aja Wilson decided to answer anyway.
Aja Wilson's envy over Caitlin Clark's rise became impossible to ignore. She made pointed, sarcastic remarks about Clark during WNBA media appearances and openly questioned her accomplishments in interviews. Her bitterness toward the league's breakout star reflected poorly on her character and professionalism. Nike executives observed her public behavior with growing concern, while fellow WNBA players began keeping their distance. Teammates rarely defended her controversial statements, and peers stopped including her in group activities. This isolation within the league only confirmed Nike's choice to shift focus away from her brand. Wilson compounded the problem by demanding parity with Clark's campaign, ignoring the stark difference in market performance. She expected Nike to match Clark's marketing budget despite lackluster sales, and her team pushed for promotional opportunities without acknowledging Clark's overwhelming fan appeal. Nike leadership quickly realized Wilson was out of touch with her true market value, living in denial about what she could realistically achieve.
Kept thinking the best player in the league should have her own shoe, not just about shoes.
You think?
Yes. Right? I want to get your thoughts on that.
Because you don't need my thoughts. You already know my thoughts.
But that's how young kids, you know, when you're a fan of LeBron, you're a fan of Asia. I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
She needs her own shoe. Let me answer that. She is the two-time MVP. I'll toot her horn because she won't. Olympic gold medalist, best defensive player, 2 years running. Her team's like, stop.
The sports marketing world quickly noticed Aja Wilson's professional relationships unraveling. Competing athletic brands studied Nike's experience with her before making their own moves. Her reputation for being difficult spread like wildfire, and she built a personal brand that companies actively avoided. Ironically, Wilson's jealousy and combative personality created exactly the outcome she feared most. Nike shifted all their attention to Caitlin Clark. The basketball community watched as Wilson's own actions sabotaged her opportunities, highlighting the high cost of pettiness and professional immaturity. Clark, on the other hand, has completely taken over Nike headquarters. The company redesigned entire facilities around her, and her groundbreaking 2026 signature